my father would proudly say to guests who came home, "I have 2 sons, my older brother and me." This felt like equality. I was as good as a son. In school, my goal was to one-up every boy around me. I would challenge the boys in my neighborhood to run races with me. And to win them over, I wore loose shirts and pants, even faking interest in video games. That's what feminism was to me, to be like a boy. The problem is that women like me feel that they must be more like men in order to be successful, because this behavior has been rewarded. But in the process, we have suppressed a huge part of our humanity. Now, my family speaks a language called Malvi, spoken by just a few in India. In that language, my father would call me Dayo Dammak, which means a good, obedient girl. Now my identity was confused. Was I a good girl, or was I as good as a son? Was I here to stay quiet and color within the lines, or shatter glass ceilings? Fast forward to 2004, when, like so many of my fellow Indian immigrants, I came to this great country to study computer science. I had 3 goals: get a job in big tech, meet a decent guy and start a family, buy a home and live the American dream. By 2017, I had checked all 3 boxes. I was finally successful in the man's world of engineering. Then one winter day, I found myself in a state-of-the-art maternity room, pumping breast milk. I glanced at the Empire State Building across from me as the breast pump whirred robotically in the background. My fingers typed away furiously as I raced to finish a project, only half listening to a conference call with my video turned off. I sniffed my 5-month-old's onesie as tears rolled down my cheeks. And just then, I looked down and noticed how little milk was in the bottles, which was that night's dinner for my baby. In that moment, I felt disconnected from my body. In that fancy maternity room, I had produced more tears than milk. How did Dayo Dammak, the good girl who was good enough to be a son, end up like this? Unfortunately, my story is common. Right now, millions of women are burning out, choking back tears in their cubicles, numbing their emotions with food or alcohol, and quietly quitting. A recent study found that burned out employees are 63% more likely to take a sick day and 23% more likely to visit the ER. Women are burning out faster than men. Another study found that 74% of women experienced work-related stress compared to 61% of men. Like me, these women have curated social media profiles, and their lives seem perfect on paper. But internally, it feels like a volcano ready to explode. Some land up in the ER with chronic health problems, while others give up on their careers, losing financial independence. And gender inequality persists. As women, we live inside a cultural pressure cooker full of mixed messages and double binds. You can either be a successful career woman or a good mom. You can be a beauty queen or an intellectual. And the expectations: be a Wonder Woman, be a super mom, be a good girl, all at once. I wondered, could we shatter glass ceilings without breaking down our minds and bodies? I decided to find out. After burning out in big tech, I enrolled in a nutrition school to get quote-unquote healthy, because no amount of green juice or Pilates was helping me. To my surprise, I found that I was already a 9 out of 10 on nutrition and 8 out of 10 on fitness. But I was a 0 when it came to sleep and rest. I was so busy in the doing that I forgot about being. I turned next to ancient Eastern wisdom. After going down several rabbit holes, I found the answer I was looking for in the philosophies of Yin and Yang from China and Shiva and Shakti from India. And here's what I found. I had to lean into the feminine. Now, feminine and masculine are words that get tossed around in the context of power and sexism. But what do they really mean? Eastern philosophies emphasize the balance between two energies, masculine and feminine, not only in our bodies, but also in our culture and communities. And the most fascinating part, these concepts are gender agnostic. So no matter where we find ourselves on the gender spectrum, feminine and masculine energy exists in each one of us. Feminine refers to the state of being, characterized by empathy, vulnerability, and intuition. Modern psychology may call this the right brain. Masculine, on the other hand, refers to the doing and achieving, molded by logic and reason. Modern psychology may call this the left brain. As you can tell, both are valuable and important attributes that we need to thrive. After all, who wants to live with half a brain? But here's the problem. Popular thinking tells us that masculine is something men have naturally and feminine is something women have naturally. Not only that, feminine attributes are considered weak, unserious, suitable only for domestic life, while masculine attributes are considered superior and valuable. In the past, I found success in suppressing the little girl inside of me. Turns out, we have done that as a culture. So many of us have turned off the feminine part of our brain. And because we associate feminine as something only women have and consider it inferior, as a result, women's contributions are also not valued equally. And I see this in our homes, our sports grounds, and our boardrooms. As of 2023, women hold less than 1/3 of the board seats in corporate America. All of this contributes to patriarchy, a system where men hold most of the power and women are largely excluded from it. But research proves that when leaders embody feminine traits like empathy and inclusivity, they create psychological safety, which Google in 2016 identified as the most valuable ingredient for a team's success. When companies champion feminine leadership, fewer employees will burn out. We will find higher performance without compromising on our well-being. In the past, when I worked as a data analyst, I played so much in my left brain that I found it hard to trust my intuition. So much so that I built a flowchart to say yes to my husband. True story. So I tried going to the other end of the spectrum, leaning fully into my right brain, the feminine. I tossed away the spreadsheets and flowcharts and relied only on my intuition. At first, it felt blissful, but I got nothing done. I quickly realized I missed my left analytical brain. I learned that my path to success and well-being was in the balance. I learned that the path to equity in our communities is also in the balance between right brain and left brain, feminine and masculine, yin and yang. So how do you come back into balance? You focus on balancing your masculine and feminine strengths. This balance looks different for each one of us. But if you're anything like my previous version, or the world right now, then lean into your feminine. The latest report from United Nations on the state of women says that it will take us 300 years to reach gender equality. 300 years. My generation will probably not finish the race that I have been trying to win since I was 5 years old. But I have a vision I'd like to share. There is a relay race happening across centuries where generations of women are fighting hard for their rights. And I see myself in this relay. I take the baton from the women who came before me and run as fast as I can to hand it off to my son, who will then pass it on to his daughter. Today, I invite you to carry this baton with me. Get curious about your feminine and masculine strengths, and let our children celebrate all parts of their humanity. I wrote this talk for my son, who I hope claims the identity of a feminist proudly, because I believe that the next wave of feminism will come not only from women, but also the men who embrace their feminine, so that we finally meet on equal footing, and no father ever feels the need to call his daughter a son in the name of equality. As a 5-year-old feminist, I ran this race as a boy. But today, I am running this race as a woman who leans into her feminine, her yin, her Shakti. Thank you.